Our decision last week reflected our best efforts to balance the risks of over and under tightening. We don't want to cool the economy more than necessary, but we don't want Canadians to have to continue to live with elevated inflation either. And we cannot let high inflation become entrenched in the economy. If inflationary pressures persist, we are prepared to raise our policy rates further to restore price stability. In summary, we've made a lot of progress in reducing inflation, but we're not there yet, and we need to stay the course. When price stability is restored, the economy will work better for everyone. And with that, Senior Deputy Governor and I will be very pleased to take your questions. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Governor and Senior Deputy Governor. We are going to get right into questions. Our first round, each party will have up to 6 minutes to be asking you questions. We are starting with MP Howland, please, for 6 minutes.
Thanks, Chair. Chair, can my time be paused? I wanted to put a motion on notice. Can my time be paused?
All right, we pause the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Finance Minister, colleagues, the Finance Minister has appeared exactly 0 times to this committee on a motion that I passed last November to appear at this committee quarterly until inflation comes down to target rate. So given that, I want to put this notice of motion that the committee report to the House its censure of the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance for ignoring the committee's requests for her to appear on the cost of living crisis. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, MP Allen.
And before I get started with my questions, Governor, I'd like to make a request to you to please table to the committee the number of mortgages that will be rolling over from October of this year until the end of 2025, broken down by month. Can I get a confirmation on that, please?
I don't have that number in front of me.
Can you table it to the committee?
We have, so we do know the number of mortgages at federally regulated financial institutions, and we could provide that information to the committee. That would be
broken down by month,
the
please,
majority.
the ones that are rolling over.
We'll do our best to get the information you're asking for.
Governor, you said last week at your presser, quote, government spending will be adding to demand more than to supply in growing and in an environment where we are trying to moderate spending and get inflation down, that's not helpful, end quote. Would it be easier if government didn't add any new spending in the fall economic statement or next year's budget? Would that be helpful?
Well, let me make some general comments here on fiscal policy. So, any standard economic textbook will tell you if you cut government spending, that will tend to slow growth, raise the unemployment rate, and reduce inflation. And similarly, if you increased taxes, it would do the same thing.
So in the context of your own words about government spending, these were your words, would it be helpful, let me ask you, why is it not helpful to you?
It would be helpful if monetary and fiscal policy was rowing in the same direction.
Are they rowing in opposite directions right now?
Right. So if you look at what we've seen over the last year, there's different ways to measure it, but one way to do this would be...
Are they rowing in opposite directions? Just a yes or no.
Over the last year, no. Over the next year, there certainly, if the spending plans of all levels of government were to be realized, government spending, by our estimates, will be growing faster than supply.
So
and
rowing in
opposite
opposite directions.
That would not be helpful in getting inflation down to target.
Rowing in opposite directions, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So David Dodge, your predecessor, has recently said the federal government is running a very expansionist policy, an increase in the budget balance that adds to inflationary pressures. It forces the bank to run a tighter policy. The PBO recently has also projected that the deficit will be $6 billion higher than the government told Canadians in their budget. Given that even in last fiscal year, the government grew their spending by 11.5%. Are you concerned about the trend in the growth of government spending? Is that not helpful either?
Well, what I indicated and what we have in our monetary policy report is the spending plans of government. And what I just indicated is that if you take all those plans, you add them up, by our estimates, they're growing at 2.5%. Potential output growth, supply side of the economy is growing at 2%. So
is it? I just want to confirm
that
is
is
the $6 billion.
Mr. Chair, point of order. Mr. Chair, point of order.
Point of order.
Can we please allow our guest to respond fully to the question? He's trying to answer the question is being interrupted.
Chair, I have a limited amount of time.
Yeah, MP Holland.
Because we've already heard some of the
But we don't want
testimony.
crosstalk, MP Holland, so we don't want you talking over the witness. Allow the witness to finish his answer to your question, please.
Okay, Governor, the $6 billion increase in deficit that was that the PPO told us about, is that included in your bank projections?
So what is in, I don't have the PBO report in front of me, but what is included in our projections is we take the federal budget, we take the budgets of all the provinces, we put that together, we make a best estimate of the fiscal
so
plan.
we know
So
that
those
it's already
are
$6
built
billion
into our
over.
projections.
The budget
Point of order,
is $6 billion
Mr. Chair.
over.
Point of order,
Yeah,
Mr. Chair.
MP Zerowitz.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
The governor was not able to answer the last question or this question. Nobody who's listening would actually be able to understand the response.
No, MP Holland, please, no crosstalk. Let's just allow the governor to finish his answer to
Trying to get
your
him to the
questions.
point.
No, but he's trying to finish his answer to your questions. Yeah, MP Holland.
We know that $6 billion is what they're already over. Is that helpful for you in your projections in bringing down interest rates?
Look,
Yes or no?
I am not going to get into the details of fiscal policy, okay?
Governor, just with due respect, you did comment on fiscal policy
Because you asked me
you did
to.
comment on government spending.
I'm not going to.
last
I'm not
week.
going to comment on specific fiscal plans, specific spending plans. What I have said, and I've been very clear, is that if you take all the spending plans of government for the next year, they imply growth in spending of 2.5%.
Fair enough. Yeah, we've heard that
is-
for the third time. So
MP Holland,
what I'm
please allow the governor to finish his
Definitely.
answers, please,
So-
to your
Point of order.
questions.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
Point of order.
My understanding is that at these committees, because we have such limited time, that the witnesses are encouraged to use a similar length of time in responding to the question as it took to pose the question. Mr. Halan is asking yes or no questions. I think it's fair.
That is not
if
correct,
my
MP
colleague
Shear. That is
trying
not
to
that is not
focus
correct.
in
What you're
on
saying is
getting
not
actual-
correct, and the governor should have an opportunity to answer the question. So,
I'm not going to have yes or no answers when you get down to specific questions of fiscal policy.
okay. So, but with due respect, you said you did your projections based on current government projections.
Correct.
We know it's already $6 billion over according to the PBO. Is that helpful in you bringing down the interest rate? Yes or no?
I think I've answered that question. I can't really add any more than what I've already said.
thank you, and that's your time, MP Holland. And now to MP Zerowitz,
Point
please, for
of
6
order,
minutes.
Mr. Chair. I was timing the whole thing.
Point of order?
And I had full another minute left.
So-
I've
so-
got it too.
No, we've got
Yeah,
it here.
yeah,
6:08.
you weren't
No,
stopping
no,
for
that
the
was
points of
That
order.
was the time.
Mr. Chair, there's another minute. Let's
That was
replay
the time.
tape.
The chair has said that was the time.
Okay, I challenge the chair.
MP Zerowitz.
I challenge the chair.
Okay, there's a challenge of the chair. Clerk?
The question is, shall the decision of the chair be sustained? Mr. Baker,
Sustain the chair's ruling.
Ms. Bandayan,
Oui.
Mr. Wheeler,
Sustained.
Ms. Derowitz,
Sustain the chair.
Ms. Thompson,
Sustain.
Mr. Chambers,
No.
Mr. Halan,
No.
Mr. Lawrence,
No.
Mr. Morantz,
No.
Monsieur Sainte-Marie,
Oui. Pour la présidence. Oh, whoops. For the president, the chair.
7 yeas pour, nays contre, 4. 4.
Thank you. It's sustained. So to MP Zerowitz for 6